I had what most would consider a normal childhood. I played soccer and swam on a swim team. By the time I was in high school, I stopped these activities, not because I couldn't do them anymore, but because I really wasn't interested in sports. I was 16 in 1997 when I first noticed any physical difficulties. When climbing steps, I would have to use a handrail and also stabilize my thigh with my hand. I just assumed that I was out of shape and needed to work out. In order to fulfill a credit requirement in high school, I took a step aerobics class with the hopes of getting in shape. Unfortunately, I was unable to perform the step portion of the step aerobics class. Instead, I would do the workout routine without the step. Part of the class requirement was to walk a timed mile. It took me approximately 12 minutes to walk a mile due to the fact that I was locking my legs. I never realized I was doing this until my instructor pointed it out to me. He suggested I have a doctor check it out. A few months later, in 1998, I was misdiagnosed with polymyositis. For 2 years, I underwent multiple different treatments that were all unsuccessful: prednisone, methotrexate, Imuran, and IVIG. During this time frame, my physical abilities varied due to the effects of some of the medications I was taking. After I received my proper diagnosis in October of 2000, I was told that it was uncertain whether physical therapy would help me or hurt me in the long run. I was the expert, and I needed to do what felt right to me. Not exactly what you want to hear after receiving a life-altering diagnosis. I decided that light physical therapy was something that I needed. If nothing else, it would provide proper documentation of the progression of my illness. I understood that there was a fine line between too little and too much exercise. I was cautioned about overdoing it during the exercise or daily activities, as my body was unable to repair any muscle damage. My exercise program has evolved since receiving my diagnosis 13 years ago. My exercise routine has always been a joint decision between my local doctors, my physical therapist, and myself. I am proud to say that my physical therapist, Jeanette, is now one of my dear friends. Jeanette reviews current medical literature and tries to incorporate the best current practice with practice that is evidence-based into my workout program. Throughout the years, how often I attend physical therapy has changed due to the demands of my everyday life. In the early years after my diagnosis, my carefree lifestyle allowed me to attend therapy 3 times a week. That tapered off to twice a week after I married, and is now down to once a week due to the demands of being a wife, a mother, an employee, and a graduate student. I realize that this is not often enough, and my dear friend Jeanette reminds me of this from time to time. Over the years, I have mainly participated in land-based exercise. These activities covered a very wide range due to the progressive nature of my illness. In the beginning, I would use weight machines, climb steps, walk on a treadmill, and retrieve items off the floor. As the weakness progressed, so would my exercise routine. After about 5 years, my exercises became less involved. I needed the assistance of a cane when walking. I even used a pair of leg braces for a short time before transitioning to a wheelchair full-time. Today, my land-based exercises mostly consist of standing with support, resistance exercises with TheraBand, and isometrics. In addition to land therapy, I was also introduced to Aquatics in 2006. This form of exercise is something I thoroughly enjoy. I feel like I get so much more from the Aquatics therapy. I'm able to walk laps, tread water, work on my upper body strength as well. The main issue with Aquatics therapy is finding a facility that is fully accessible for me to get changed and has a pool lift. My husband and I decided that the exercise benefits I received from Aquatics was reason enough to have a pool installed in our backyard. From April to August of last year, I was able to exercise in the pool multiple times a week. I noticed a significant increase in my balance when performing my standing transfers. Unfortunately, when the pool season ended, all of my hard work seemed to disappear in about a month. I could use the pool at my physical therapy office in the winter months. However, this would eat approximately 3+ hours of my day due to the drive time, changing out of my clothes, the actual time of exercise in the pool, and changing out of my swimsuit. I realize this is an excuse of sorts, but I have a full active life outside of the inconvenience of muscular dystrophy. I know that the jury is still out on whether exercise will help or hurt people with my diagnosis. However, recent research shows that appropriate exercise intervention has a neuroprotective effect, meaning it delays or decreases neuromuscular deteriorations in persons with progressive neuromuscular diseases. Even though much of this research has been done in the diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, it is believed to be true across multiple diagnoses. I realize that without medicine or a cure, exercise alone is not going to give me back the physical abilities that the progression of this illness has taken from me. However, I share the point of view of the late Christopher Reeves. It is imperative for me to maintain overall good bone, muscle, and cardiovascular health, so when the miracle cure y'all are working so hard to find comes along, I will be healthy enough to benefit from it. I also prepared a few slides that highlight my physical abilities through the years. Age 16 was the initial onset of my symptoms. I had difficulty getting my left foot up to the clutch in my 5-speed car. I was walking with my legs locked. I had a strange gait, and my friend would call me Mowgli from the movie Lion King. And I also had difficulty climbing stairs. From age 17 and a half to 18 and a half, I was heavily medicated due to the improper diagnosis. I was unable to climb steps, needed a wheelchair for doctor's appointments. I was unable to rise from a chair and had great difficulty raising my hand above my head. I was also homeschooled my senior year of high school. From age 19 to 21, I was on no medications, and I was able to climb a few steps, needed both hands to rise from a chair to push off from the seat. I only used a wheelchair for long distances or crowded places, and I still locked my knees in order to walk. From age 22 to 25, I was piggybacked up steps because I was no longer able to climb them. I needed to be lifted from a standard height chair. I was able to rise myself from bar height chairs. My balance was very bad. I couldn't have anybody around me that would bump into me. I would fall. And of course, I was still locking my knees to walk. From 26 to 27, I started using a wheelchair when I was going out in public, and probably should have used it way before then, but the pride issue got in the way. You just want to hang on to every bit of your independence that you can. My balance was terrible. My gait was very awkward, as I would have to really swing my legs out to the side. And I was still able to turn over and roll back and forth in the bed. From age 28 to 32, I now use a wheelchair full time. I'm still able to do standing transfers. I need assistance to raise my hands completely above my head, and I'm unable to completely turn over in bed. And last but not least, I would like to thank the Jane Foundation and the Jane family for bringing all these brilliant minds together with the hopes of finding a cure as quickly as possible for limb-girdle muscular dystrophy. As a patient that has been afforded the luxury of attending multiple dysferlin conferences, I always leave with restored hope that a cure is on the horizon and within our reach. Thank you.